So today we're going to be talking about the overall state of Destiny PvP. So, problems with the Crucible, the successes, and just things I think need to be implemented into the game to freshen things up and just overall to enhance the PvP experience. So as I'm sure probably most of you are well aware by now, Shot Package has been entirely removed from the game. So now, if you did have a shotgun with Shot Package on it before, it's going to be replaced with a different perk. So overall, this is a step in the right direction, right? We've been complaining about shotguns for so much time. Me personally, I hated shotguns so much because I only sniped, right, before Felwinter's came out, and then probably about 2 months into the release of Felwinter's, I pretty much only sniped, right? And when you end up sniping with like a Mido or a Hawkmoon, and you have people running around blink shotgunning with Felwinter's, it can get pretty agitating. You can see evidence of this if you ever visit the Bungie forums, because you can be sure to see a lot of people complaining on there, primarily about shotguns, and then of course previously exotic hand cannons before they were nerfed. But now since that issue is out of the way, the only last remaining issue would be shotguns, which is now hopefully removed. For the most part, map design in Destiny's close quarters, shotguns are always going to be viable and they're always going to be really good, but are they going to be ridiculous? Personally, I hope not, right? I've been trying to get shotguns nerfed for a while. Of course, I don't have a lot of political influence within the world of Destiny because I'm just a smaller YouTuber, but I've been trying to tell people and get the word out about shotguns. Commenting on forum posts and stuff like that. Of course, it doesn't really do anything, but I've just basically been complaining, and I try not to complain that much, but it's really hard to not when shotguns are that dominant. So anyways, moving on to, a concern or issue that some people have had. So rangefinder, right? It's the remaining range increasing perk on shotguns since Shot Package has been removed entirely. Of course, on the 2.0 weapon update or weapon rebalancing, rangefinder was touched pretty heavily. I know they, decreased the amount of range it gives you by a lot, and you could see this, right? So right after the patch, everyone was using Shot Package. Of course, it was primarily dominated by Shot Package before, but rangefinder was still good as well. But as of right now, some people have conducted some tests that has raised a few eyebrows regarding, are shotguns still gonna snipe people? Which is, they had, they went into Rumble with a team of 2 and tested how far they could one-hit someone by shooting them with a shotgun, like a Party Crasher or a Matador with rangefinder. And this is accurate or inaccurate for a few reasons. The first one being that, right, when you're in a shotgun battle, there are 2 moving components of that battle. It's gonna be you moving towards them and them moving left or right or towards you, away from you, any type of movement, right? So you have to compensate for that movement, and of course during that movement you're not going to be entirely accurate. In addition to this, most of the time if you're running directly at them, they're going to be shooting you as well. So when you get shot, obviously, like in most shooters, you're going to be flinched, and when you are flinched, your gun is going to kick up and down. So if you had it aimed at center mass with your shotgun, when you shoot, you might not end up be shooting while you're at center mass. So they tested this while someone was not moving and while they're at center mass without being flinched. So just overall, the consistency of sniping someone with a shotgun is going to go way down. You're not going to get sniped too often. Maybe, if there's a perfect opportunity, you might get shot from really far away and it might irritate you. But overall, I think the quality of the Crucible has increased and become a lot more fun with the removal of Shot Package. Next on our list for PvP is going to be the new subclasses within the Taken King and how they perform in PvP, and how a lot of people, including myself, can sometimes be annoyed by them. Of course, everyone knows there's an issue with Sunbreaker right now. Essentially what it is, it's a flying Fist of Havoc shielded golden gun that throws Nova bombs with Hungering Blade. It's sad to think about it, but that's essentially what it is. It's a very strong super. I know a lot of people have been annoyed when playing Iron Banner when you're playing against a lot of Sunbreakers because it's a little bit more difficult to win. Overall, the Storm Trance too, right? Storm Trance is really powerful. It's really good. Overall, the supers within the Taken King have been very strong. Of course, people don't exactly like the new Night Stalker super because it's, in all honesty, it's pretty weak for PvP. Of course, you can get, if you have that one ability that changes the damage between the people. If you toss it on a heavy and like one shot someone to the body with a high impact sniper, you can kill, all the people that are tethered to it. But for the most part, probably the weakest super within the Taken King, but the subclass itself, mainly being Shade Step, can be annoying for some people to play against. Maybe you run behind someone, right? You get 2 shots on him with a Hawkmoon, you need 1 more headshot to kill him, and then he double taps his crouch button and then just keeps doing it, and you can't hit him because he's shade stepping around. Essentially, if you guys don't know what shade step does, it doesn't make you invulnerable, but it wipes off all of the aim assist and makes you pretty much impossible to see if the lighting is not like extremely light outside. So if there's any darkness, it's going to be pretty much impossible to see them. So overall, I think there's are great additions to the game as far as fun factors go, because it's a lot more fun to experiment with new stuff, but they can be annoying at times. So overall, I appreciate that they're, added into the game, but I'm just not a big fan of them as a whole when you're playing against them. I still run with the Gunslinger. I know a lot of people might criticize this because, Hunter is always the scapegoat for the world's PvP problems. It's Blink, Gold Gun's too good, Quick Draws OP, and all that stuff. But I think, with Sunbreaker and Storm Trance, I think the Gold Gun is the least of our problems. So at this point, I enjoy all the new subclasses. I think they're super cool and super fun to play with. But as far as any type of competitive or balancing goes, they're not very fair, simply because I think they're kind of designed, because Destiny is geared for the average consumer more than any type of competitive inspiring, or anyone that wants to play the game competitively, because overall the PvP isn't competitive. It's a lot more recreational and fun to play rather than something you take really serious. So when people do try to take it serious, it can be kind of annoying when they play against these subclasses, because they were designed with the fun factor in mind and not necessarily with the balanced factor. Another thing that can be a little bit irritating at times is that it seems like Bungie is spending a lot more time, fixing the things that they've broken in the game in comparison to making new content and, new PvP. I guess, I don't know, new PvP content that's going to be fun to play. People that play PvP aren't getting a ton of support. Of course, they introduce new maps and stuff, which I personally was not a big fan of. That's the reason I still play Classic. A lot of people want to give me crap on my videos saying that I still play Classic so that I can play against noobs and get gameplays a lot easier. I just do it because I hate the new maps. I think they're too shotgun favorable, too close quarters. And overall, I just think the map design is a lot worse in comparison to, maps that were released like Twilight Gap or, Rusted Lands, anything released before any of the DLC. So that's why I play, Classic still. Of course, when I talk about glitches and stuff and how they're fixing the stuff that's broken. So Trials was supposed to come out, right, on Friday, which I was looking forward to. I hadn't played it in a long time. I quit Trials for a bit because it was getting kind of boring, but Taken King came out, there's new gear to be had, and I wanted to get it. So I set all my stuff aside, and I was able to clear my calendar for this weekend so that I could play Trials of Osiris pretty much all day and just grind it out. Unfortunately, what ended up happening is a glitch was discovered that allowed people to spam the Night Stalker Super and get unlimited amount of arrows, so that they could pretty much spam, Void Bows the whole entire game. So of course, that was not conducive to any type of competitive gameplay, and because Trials of Osiris is endgame PvP content, regarding, there's wins on the line or rewards on the line, so they didn't want to, incite any frustration through that, so instead they just delayed it. So as of right now, I'm assuming Trials is going to be back and continuing next week, but who knows how long it will take Bungie to fix this. So right now they're spending their time fixing stuff instead of us enjoying Trials of Osiris, which they said would be released on a certain date and then now got pushed back because of an error in their coding, which kind of leads me to my next issue, which is the introduction of new PvP playlists and private matches. So what I mean by this is ranked PvP playlists. A lot of different YouTubers that play PvP or make PvP tip videos overall are interested in PvP, have kind of just gotten kind of tired of playing the original same old skirmish over and over, playing against people that you're not meant to be playing against. They're not at the same skill level as you. Maybe they're too good for you, or they're not as good as you, and it's just too easy. So overall, the introduction of skill-based matchmaking and any type of ranked playlist, it's going to make PvP a lot more enjoyable for people that are good and for the people that aren't as good, because you're going to be getting paired with people who are in your same skill ranking or skill level, or I don't know how you'd say it, but you're going to be playing against people that are competitive or going to be competitive with your level of play, which is going to be a good thing overall for the game. Just overall, it seems like when you're playing against people, let's just say, if anyone that's watching this video, if you can relate to this, if you're really good, let's just say you're a really good sniper or, anything, right? If you do really good in skirmish and it's not a challenge for you, it's not that fun. So when something isn't a challenge, it kind of loses its potency and its value. As far as what you think the game is like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but Game Sharks back in the day for like Game Boys and stuff, any type of cheat code inducing system it made the game kind of boring. Like if you played a game and then entered cheat codes, it wasn't fun anymore because you got all this stuff you want to grind for and attain yourself. It just gets given to you and it's not that fun. So when stuff is challenging and you can get stuff out of it, like if you want to become the highest rank skirmish player, your true skill 50 or anything like that, something big on Halo was like earning your 50 in doubles or anything like that. It's going to make PvP more enjoyable and add more stuff that people are going to want to strive for within PvP, which overall I think is a really positive thing for the game. Also, if I haven't mentioned private matches, I'm going to be mentioning them now, and if I did, then I'm going to be going over them in more detail. So recently, and just for a long time, a lot of people that have been in the competitive or quote-unquote competitive Destiny community have been wanting private matches for a very long time, because as of right now, the means of queuing with one another is you have to have 2 hosts that live extremely close to one another. Let's just say 2 California hosts. You go into skirmish, press launch at the same time, and then through a complicated sequence of searching and evaluating, there's a certain formula into matching against your teammates. So this doesn't always work out, right? Maybe you're playing against 3 New Yorkers against 3 people from Los Angeles or something, 3 West Coast versus 3 East Coast. It's not going to work out well, and you're not going to be able to queue 90% of the time. And sometimes, even if you are close, it takes like an hour or 2 hours to queue. And just this isn't any type of way to run any type of competitive game. There's never going to be game battles for this game. If it continues like this, there's no any type of private matches. The question of if Destiny can be a competitive game, that's a question for another day. But as of right now, the first step into Destiny becoming any type of competitive game is private matches, and that's kind of the place you have to start. And then we can kind of develop the competitive community from there. We'll see. COD I think is dying out slowly. So if we get some new COD players that want to play Destiny competitive, I think that's a step in the right direction. But I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. This was a bit of a longer commentary compared to stuff that I usually make. So hopefully it was enjoyable, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.